So today I'll be continuing with my schedule discussion and point spread prediction videos. Today I'll be doing Missouri. So Missouri was one of the biggest surprise teams last year. They were a team that was only expected to go around 6-6 last year, but got to 10-2. And uh, mm, I'm not trash talking Missouri, but uh, I think they were a little overrated last year. I don't really think they were top 10. They were a good team, but the two toughest teams they played on their schedule were LSU and Georgia, and they lost both of those. And then that bowl game against Ohio State that they won. Uh, mm, they only scored 14 points in it, and Ohio State couldn't throw the ball at all in it. They were playing a third string quarterback most of the time, so no doubt that Ohio State would have scored more than 14 uh, with their starting quarterback playing. And I think they're a little overhyped going into this season. Uh, and uh, Mm, This schedule, though, uh, is the easiest schedule that I've seen in the whole SEC. Of course, the SEC has no easy schedules, but they couldn't have really gotten it much better uh, being an SEC team this year. Mm, so they may not even have to be quite as good this year to still get to 10-2 again. And if they're as good as they're hyped up to be, the schedule gives them a good chance to get to the SEC championship game. But of course, I've said I don't think they're going to be that good. Mm, so, uh, some good stuff about this schedule is now that divisions are gone in the SEC, they won't have to play Georgia, and then they also don't have to play Texas, and they don't have to play Ole Miss or LSU. Those are uh, going to be good teams in the SEC this year. Uh, and then in the non-conference, uh, if they're close or as good as they were last year, they should be 4-0, no problem there. They have three really easy games in the non-conference against uh, Murray State, Buffalo, and Massachusetts. And then Boston College is a Power Four team, but they're not very good. Mm, so they should win that one pretty easily too. And then their first uh, conference game couldn't be any easier. Vanderbilt at home. Uh, and then I like where their first week off comes. It comes right before mm, a road game against Texas A&M, which will be their toughest game up to that point. Mm, it will be a tough game for them, so it's good to have a week off before uh, playing that one. And then they have two road games in a row there, but the good news is the second one's Massachusetts, so uh, it's like having a week off. Uh, and then uh, mm, uh, their next game is against Auburn, and that could be tough. But the good news is they don't have to go to Auburn, so that'll make it much easier because Auburn's a much better team at home than they are on the road. Uh, and then uh, after that, uh, they do have a really tough one on the road at Alabama. Uh, right now, that looks like it'll be the toughest game on their schedule. Uh, mm, mm. And then I like where the second week off comes too. It comes after the Alabama game and right before the game against Oklahoma. Oklahoma will be a really tough one. Uh, mm, they do get it at home though, but uh, mm, this isn't to trash talk Missouri, but they have one of the worst home field advantages in the SEC. Actually, except for Vanderbilt, they probably do have the worst. It's not much tougher playing Missouri at Missouri than playing them at your home field. So I don't know how much it being at home will help Missouri in that game, but it's still a winnable game. Mm, mm. And then after that, they do have two SEC road games in a row, and uh, that's not something you want to have. But the good news is they're against South Carolina and Mississippi State, who I think will be two of the worst teams in the SEC this season. Uh, and if Missouri is uh, really good this year, those are games that even on the road in a row there they should be able to handle. But if they're not near as good, it wouldn't be the craziest thing if they lost one of those. And then at the end there, they play Arkansas, which shouldn't be too hard. That's been their uh, rivalry from the opposite division. Uh, so now I'll move on to the prediction. Uh, I talk more about how I do my point spreads in the Ohio State video. So if you want, you can watch that. Uh, but the games in the green are games where I think Missouri will be favored to win by a blowout, 20 or more points. Mm, and I see three of those: Murray State, Buffalo, and Massachusetts. And then mm, the games in the blue are games where I think they'll be favored to win by 10 to 19 points. So not a close spread, but not a blowout spread. And I see three of those: Boston College, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas. And then uh, the games in the purple are games where I think they'll be favored to win by about a touchdown, uh, 6 to 9 points. And I see three of those: Auburn, South Carolina, and Mississippi State. Mm. And then the games in the pink are games where I think they'll be favored to win by about a field goal. So 1 to 5 points, and I see one of those: Texas A&M. And then uh, the games in the black are the toss-up games, games that there won't be a favorite. At least you wouldn't think so right now. And there's one of those: Oklahoma. And then uh, the games in the yellow are games where I think that Missouri will be about a touchdown underdog, so 6 to 9 points, and there's one of those, Alabama. So Murray State, Buffalo, and Massachusetts. Missouri should be favored in all three of those by 40 something points. Those should be big blowouts. Mm, and then uh, Boston College. Mm, they'll probably be favored in that one by a couple of touchdowns, probably around 14 points. And then Vanderbilt, they'll probably be favored in that one by about 17 points. Mm, mm. Then Arkansas, that one will probably be closer to 10 points, probably right around uh, 10 points. Mm, and then uh, Auburn, that's just in the purple because it's a home game for Missouri. If not, it it would have been in the pink. But I think Missouri will be about a 6 point favorite in that game. Mm. Mm. And then South Carolina, uh, it'd probably be in the blue if it was at Missouri, but because it's on the road, mm, Missouri will probably be favored in that one by about 7. Uh, and then Mississippi State, it'd be in the blue if it was a home game for Missouri, but because it's a road game, they'll probably be favored by 8 or 9 points. Uh, mm, and then Oklahoma, uh, mm, it could possibly be in uh, the pink, which would mean they'd be a small favorite. Missouri would be, but Right now, I just think Oklahoma is probably going to be a little bit better than Missouri, and Missouri doesn't have that much of a home field advantage, so uh, that's why I left that one as a toss up. Mm, mm. And then Texas A&M, mm, Missouri would probably be a touchdown favorite if it was a home game, but with it being on the road, they'll probably be favored in that one by 3 or 4 points. Mm, mm. And then Alabama uh, mm, will probably be favored to beat Missouri by about 6 points. Mm, so that will be it with this video. And please subscribe and thanks for watching. And I'll be back with another one of these very soon.